Hi, this is Proact Sam from Living and Working Abroad. On our website at proactpartnership.com, we've got a mine of information, podcasts, blogs, vlogs, and articles for expat, family and business, living and working abroad, relocating overseas and investing offshore, looking at many areas of tax, wills, immigration, healthcare and business, and looking in particular at EU Brexit for expats. And what we want to do in this short vlog is look at how citizenship can be acquired and what are the rules that go around it for non-EU citizens. So let's take the EU out of residency and look what happens with people that are living and working abroad and what their options are regarding citizenship. So you can acquire citizenship if your parents are from that, are citizens of that country. Even if you're born abroad, you can still get that citizenship. And if you're a descendant of grandparents who are Irish, American, or Cypriot, or British, or French, then you can acquire. There's ways to acquire citizenship as well as being a descendant. In addition to that, there can sometimes be arrangements with particular countries to make citizenship applications, such as Israel, for example. So Roman Abramovich recently acquired Israeli citizenship, apparently, according to newspaper reports, because of his Jewish descendancy, even though he's a native Russian. You can also get citizenship from marriage, and again, different qualifications for different countries. In Cyprus, if you're married and living in country, after 3 years you can acquire citizenship of Cyprus. And then there's the naturalisation route, and again we have a fairly common standard. Not everybody does it in the world, but most countries. So EU countries generally allow a naturalisation process. The time can vary between 5 and 7 years or maybe more. By living and working in that country legally, you can acquire a citizenship. There will be capital, income, skill, qualifications to get entry and get those entry visas and to be able to live and work there legally. Because obviously if you're not living and working there illegally, one of the criteria for gaining citizenship is not to be a criminal and not to be illegal. So as soon as you get caught for not being legally resident, then you're going to exclude yourself from ever becoming legally resident in that country. So after 7 years you can generally do that. Now let's have a look at what that would mean in different countries. So for Cyprus, a non-EU citizen buying a property valued at around £360,000 with 30,000 euros in the bank and 30,000 income from outside Cyprus, living and working in Cyprus, can acquire a Cypriot visa and become naturalised citizenship after 7 years. So the bar is quite low when you compare it to other countries, but it's still quite high, that you've got to have a good income of more than 30,000 a year, and you've got to have nearly 400,000 euros of cash available to invest into Cyprus. Consider the UK, their tier 1 immigration, you have to invest £1 million, either in government bonds in the UK or in a private company or public company shares or loan stock. So that's the level of investment you need to acquire a visa to live in England, and then after 5 years you can convert that to a naturalised citizenship. If you ever wondered what's going to happen to the Premier League after EU Brexit, not a lot. £1 million is 20,000 a week. So any Premier League football on a 4-year contract earning more than 5,000 a week is going to earn £1 million. If he's earning 20,000 a week, he's going to earn £1 million a year. So it's not beyond the wit of their agents and clubs and their own investment advisors to create an investment of £1 million to qualify them for residency independent of any footballing or income contract that they've got. So football is going to carry on, but it is a big investment as a non-EU citizen. There are other ways into the UK with specific skill needs, but it just throws into stark contrast the two extremes. Countries like Holland would want a particular 1.25 million euro investment in a venture capitalist, private equity type of innovative company. Spain will take €1 million investment to acquire a visa and citizenship invested in a bank or company in Spain. So the bar can be quite high. Malta, you only need a €500,000 investment and a €16,000 income, but you do have to pay a fee to get your citizenship of £650,000, and that's a big fee to pay. So those are your options. Compare that to naturalisation for an EU citizen. So if an EU citizen is living and working in Cyprus already, and they've already got a residency permit, because there's an automatic registration for any EU expat in the living and working in Cyprus, then you then can acquire that 7-year citizenship. And if you look at the permanent residency requirements for non-EU citizens, they're not quite as onerous as an outside investor from scratch. So they're still looking for you to invest in that €360,000 property, but it's not an essential requirement. It's preferable. It could be rental or a smaller value property. And the income requirement is only 10,000 per person, with 10,000 plus 5,000 per person. So 3 children and a spouse would mean that you would need €30,000 income. A retired couple would need 15,000 income. But the big test is that your medical, property and lifestyle expenses are covered from your income on a regular basis, and this is what the immigration people would look at in Cyprus when granting the permanent residency, and on an ongoing basis to make sure that you weren't becoming a burden on the welfare state, that you're of independent means. In the UK, permanent residency is not a term that's used in the UK. They're switching to an indefinite right to remain to a settled status, which comes in from March next year. And again, there's no impediment to an EU expat relocated to the UK before Brexit and then acquiring this settled status, which will be that if you're an EU expat and you're living and working in the UK, you've got a job without any specific income requirements at the moment, and you're not a dependent on the state, then you will be granted this settled status and right to live in the UK indefinitely. Compare that situation to the permanent residency in Cyprus, which is comparable. If you've been living in Cyprus for 5 years and you can prove that, a UK expat living and working in Cyprus can essentially get a 10-year residency visa in Cyprus and free movement between the home country and Cyprus indefinitely. So this is a good move for UK expats to take before Brexit to get this permanent residency application. If there's no withdrawal treaty and no transition period, the dates might be brought forward. So at the moment, there's a long winter ahead and some big battles to be fought. And we would suggest that EU expats wanted to live and work in the UK or in the EU from the UK would look to relocate now and address their residency issues so that their migration, residency for the family and travel to holiday homes can be secured into the future. So ProExam from Living and Working Abroad. Go along to our website at proactpartnership.com and download a copy of our guide, How EU Brexit Will Affect Expats, Overseas Property, Business and Pensions. and he's got a full detailed guide of all the current situation and the steps that people will need to take and the impact. But as we've seen today, Brexit, residency and Brexit means that before Brexit, for EU citizens, residency and the right to remain in the country that you're living in as a permanent resident or with a settled status is much easier to acquire, much lower standards of proof than after Brexit, when the capital and income and investment requirements dramatically increase. So consider your options, contact us, comment on our Facebook page and groups, and we will get back to you and share the information in a wider format for you. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.